what an absolute incredible season. And I'm going to stop filibustering, and I'm going to bring Scott back up to introduce Clara Tsai, who I hear has the championships trophy with her, because did y'all hear? The Liberty just won the championship, delivering the first basketball title to the state of New York since 1973. Won't women do it? Okay, Scott.
Boy, how do I follow Al? I mean, this is really hard. I'm usually, upbeat, but man. All right, so about collective bargaining. No, I kid. I am a journalist. I'm supposed to ask. I'm going to tell. She's not allowed to talk about it. Like, we know this. She's not allowed to talk about it. So the obligatory, you can't talk about it. Okay, great. Mike Bloomberg used to say this about data. I love it. It was, in God we trust. Everybody else bring data. So what's the data tell you? I know you, I know Joe. You're looking at it. What does the data tell you about your team, your league?
Well, we've seen so much growth on all the important business metrics, and I truly think that we haven't even started to, tap into the potential. So the data is saying that audiences want to experience live sports, and I think they're saying that they want to view women's sports. So I mean, I would say the data is saying that the viewership is there, and I think it's showing that it's sustainable. When you look at the trends and you look at what is causing this growth, women's college basketball, and finally being able to make that jump from college viewership into the pro leagues, mainly because I think mainstream media is covering these phenoms early, and so fans are able to follow these players, when they enter the draft. So things like that, plus as Kathy was mentioning, the incredible talent coming up, I think that, it's telling me that viewership growth is sustainable.
This plan is nice, but we can do better, right?
I think so.
I think we can do it. Let's do better. This is not good. I'm going to move this back a little bit. We can do better. I'm going to move this, that. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Now we have a backdrop. That's what I'm talking about. So, Clara, how long is the celebratory halo? I mean, are we in euphoric state? Where are we?
We're still. I mean, the team's pretty tired because everyone told us that the time to party is the first night because that is the night you win, and that's super special. So, when I left the arena, it was 3:45 a.m.
You probably left early.
Yeah, they were still going, but then they had to be at GMA the next morning and CBS this morning. So, I mean, I don't think JJ even changed her clothes. I think she just literally went straight. And Stewie said she slept for 45 minutes and regretted that she slept for 45 minutes, So it's been a lot. It's been a lot of appearances, a lot of media requests, a lot of parties. And this morning we just rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange.
Now, I think you...
and we're on Jimmy Fallon today. I mean, the taping's at 5.
You need perspective to really understand the emotion, I think. Like you saw Teaspoon, you saw Sue Wicks.
Right.
You need to understand where the players were to understand the euphoria of the moment. You were there, you saw something. What did you see in the league, and where do you see it going? Because you were early, you saw it, now what do you see?
I do want to take a moment to say why this trophy and this championship is so important for this franchise, because you mentioned Sue Wicks and you mentioned Teresa Weatherspoon. We've been to the finals 5 times and never won. And we were one of the original franchises, and we actually went to the finals 4 times in the first 6 years of the league, and that was when Madison Square Garden was also full with 16,000 people. And so winning this trophy means so much for our legends like Teresa Weatherspoon and Sue Wicks and many others who really, you talk to Teresa Weatherspoon, the way she shows up and the way she talks about playing for New York and what it means to play for New York and all the values of New York basketball, that is the foundation of this franchise. So I'm really happy for her and the other legends that we were able to finally win a trophy. It means a lot to them. And it means just as much to the fans, because we have so many fans that have been with us for 28 years. And they've been waiting for a championship, and they are really excited to have this as well. So, we have a lot of new young fans. I mean, if you look around, we have an incredibly diverse and multicultural fan base. But in there is also our OG fans from 28 years ago. It's a really incredible mix of people. But it's really, it's really the legends and the fans, and then also the current players who really came here in order to win a championship together. So, I mean, it's very meaningful on all those different levels.
We know the NBA and you guys like entertainment. The name of the documentary at Tribeca was Unfinished Business.
So we finished the business.
Finish the business, right?
Yeah.
So are there more mountains left to climb?
Well, of course, there's a back-to-back. I mean, I would say, if we laid the foundation for Liberty basketball for generations to come.
Right. So tell me from a business perspective,
Yeah.
because that's what we're doing here.
Where do I see this going?
Well, I mean, you've talked about valuations, and this franchise will lead that way. It's sort of the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Yankees. This will be that franchise of the WNBA. Where do you see, and where's the value coming from?
Well, it's coming from monetizing the viewership growth. So I mentioned how viewership, and our viewership curve is different from the other big four, right, which had a sort of a steady growth. Maybe for the NBA, a blip in the 80s, then a blip again when Michael Jordan came on in the 90s. But for the WNBA, we were kind of like this, and then just 2 years ago, went like this. So the revenue is lagging the viewership growth. Right now, if you look at our viewership growth, we're about 30% of the viewership of the NBA. But if you look at the media deal, even the new one that's just coming on, we're 4% of the revenues of the media deal. So there's a lot of room for revenues to catch up to the viewership growth. So I think it's important to sustain that growth and then be able to monetize, and not just on media, although that is the largest source of revenue, but also ticketing, sponsorships, so many, really every other source of revenue.
There was a capital raise not long ago. Like Nike has an equity position in the league. It's a different structure than I think many people even realize. What's your message to the players? Don't get in trouble. What's your message to the players who hear things, $500 million franchise valuation, new TV deal worth X? Right. You tried to provide private air travel. You did that ahead of time. What's your message to the players who are saying we want and deserve more?
I think it's reasonable for them to feel that way. I mean, I think they see, like you just said, they read these things in the media as well. I mean, for them, so many, as you know, have played for something other than money, right? Players have said, I lose money to play or whatever, and so I think so many are playing, they play because they love the game. They play for representation. They know that how they play and the values that they show when they play are going to inspire future generations. There are many things they play for.
Let's finish with this. Franchises today are sort of the hubs of much bigger global businesses. And obviously you and Joe have an eye on the global sport game. There's finance, there's real estate, there's media. What will the Liberty 5-10 years from now, what will it be the hub of? What will that business look like, along with the Nets, the Barclays Center? What do you think it will look like in terms of all those other things that encapsulate platform companies?
Well, it's really elevated its position within our BSC global business, right? We're now seeing 18,000 people. We can bring in attendance that's similar to Nets games. So I think overall it's going to be increasingly a bigger part of the global company. And by the same token, the league, as the league globalizes, we will be part of that globalization. I just think all of the trends, right? The revenues are going up, valuations are going up. There's you know, and as I said, I think the audience potential is still, you know, far from being tapped. So I think we're well on our way to the valuations that we think we can be. And I have said that I think we can be the first billion-dollar women's sports franchise.
And you do have a little matter of a parade coming
Yes.
up. And that's even a business of sport thing. I didn't realize this. Your sponsors, definitely forward-thinking. Some of them put in the deal
Yeah.
that if you win, we get a float.
Right. So we have sponsor floats. I think Bumble has one, and you know, like, and it was very.
Speed dating at the parade?
But yeah, like, you know, obviously Nike is a big sponsor of Sabrina. Puma is a sponsor of Stewie. So you know, they've sponsored floats for them, and yeah, there's come and see the spectacle.
Well, Clara, thank you so much. Appreciate it, and I hope the halo goes for quite a while.
Thank you.